a bamboo tube, but that's amazingly dangerous for our demonstration. So I have here a 3-barrel Chinese hand cannon that dates to about 1680. 375 caliber barrels lit with small wicks in 6 sections. Ready on the line. Captain's ready, and I'm going to go fire this next.
If everybody could yell with me, it's not that loud. Fire in the hole. 1, 2, 3.
Fire in the hole! Stop! Nice.
Nice pop.
The Chinese hand cannon.
My boomstick.
I am.
You can tell who the crazy one on the crew is.
Absolutely.
I'm just one of them. Yeah.
Free shot.
Him and his brother. Oh, look at the smoke ring.
At least the pirates are saying it, not me.
But it smells good.
That's how the Christmas advantage.
All right.
Nicky.
The matchlock.
Oh,
The matchlock.
the matchlock. Next time.
Good day, peoples. I am Cornwell de Conchel. I am the bard of this frying vessel. And as a bard, normally I wouldn't carry or fire a weapon such as this, because as the bard, my weapon is my mouth, and my ammunition, my black powder are my words. A good captain, as our captain knows, it's not always the right thing to fight. Oftentimes, you can talk it out first. And that's your best opportunity, because battle uses cost money. Crew uses black powder, you use all kinds of different provisions.
We sent you first for a reason.
But I have been given the fine honor of shooting this vessel right here. This is the matchlock, developed in about 1520. It is the most dangerous weapon on our line. The reason being because this pan here that you fill with primer to fire your weapon lies just below a constantly burning slow match. A slow match is a small rope soaked in gunpowder and water and then allowed to dry. It burns probably about an inch every 10 minutes or so. So while you're loading your prime weapon, there you have right above it a burning match. It has had its ups and downs, let me tell you. It was replaced very quickly. And I'm going to go and fire this for you.
Yay! I get excited. Okay.
My name is Zaya Starr. I'm the ship's lead steward, or as they love to call me, their mistress of all.
Yay! Morale officer.
What my job was to make sure that our provisions lasted us for the 2 to 3 months at sea that we were planning on spending, so we didn't use all of our grog like halfway through the voyage. And when you're in the ocean, you don't have anything.
People get upset at her when she run out of food.
And rum.
Now, a lot of people think pirates were nothing but a drunken mess. Well, it was the Navy that actually started the whole drinking aboard the ship. And what you actually drink is called grog. It's a mixture of rum and water because you can't have plain water, it goes bad. And then you add a little bit of citrus juice to it to help keep everybody aboard from getting scurvy. That is another thing that commonly happened at sea and we all thought it was forbidden. Now,
Can John show his son the years since they're kind of cousins?
oh yeah, that's right. He has the English version.
He's got one too. Ready on the line? On the line.
In a minute, you get back home.
The matchlock.
That was a right proper bang.
Now, I will not be shooting mine today because it is broken.
His isn't broken.
Mine's the German version. It was used for the cavalry, which a lot of places in Europe call dragoons, hence the name dragoon pistol. Now, the barrel was longer for a little bit of accuracy, because let's face it, it was very accurate from horseback bouncing down. When they shot, they have one hand on the reins, the end of the barrel rested on their elbow, and then for a little bit of stability, and then they use that. So, you're going to go shoot, I'm going to go put this in.
Kyle, will you help him load? You can be
Okay.
a loader person. Yay! Vicky! My ship's carpenter, she painted it. Pretty.
My name's Vicky. I'm a work on the ship's house.
Yes. This is a Spanish pistol from the 1700s. Handmade. And it's made out that's a 60 caliber. That's a big
Look at, they're gonna shoot. Yeah, they're gonna shoot.
I am the ship's master at arms. I'm the one that makes sure that all these fine weapons are fireable most of the time. Also train this crew on how to use the hand weapons. Because not only do we use firearms, we also use cutlasses and harpoons and any other belaying pins or whatever we can
Playing pin.
to fight for the ship. Because, well, these things are only single shot. Unless you want to weigh yourself down with a bunch of them. In the middle of combat, you fire once, you turn it around. Matchlock's got a big club. All they are fancy clubs. What I have here is a flintlock rifled musket, which is a little bit different than what they've got, because I can shoot something 200 yards away and hit it. Most of what they have, well, from me to you, they're lucky. From me to Aspergillius, well, be prey.
Ready on the line.
I'd be okay.
Ready on the line. Fire in the hole! Spanish pistol.
This happens from time to time. In fact, in damp weather, it happens quite a bit.
So this is where if her gun didn't fire during a battle, she would turn it around and she'd have her handy club.
Or we lose our carpenter.
My favorite targets are the people who wear, well, actually nobody's wearing their fancy hats right now.
The powder monkeys, actually.
That's why you too.
One last time and then we'll unload that gun.
So powder monkeys, the person behind the ship's wheel to make sure that the ship goes straight. Anybody who looks like they're giving orders to somebody else, those are my targets. I'm sitting up there on the quarterdeck, leaning on that rail. I've got a nice stable platform, and I will hit you.
Fire in the hole!
Fire in the hole! Put it down. We allow 3 misfires, and then we put the weapon down, and we allow it to sit, and we later unload it when it's safe to do so.
All right.
My name is Jason Bloodbeard Markaby, and I am the engineer aboard the Primrose. I am the man who fixes the mechanical systems of the ship, all the ropes and pulleys for the rudders and the anchors and all that sort of thing. I have here an 1820s gun called the Hawken rifle. Now this one happens to be a smoothbore, but you'll note I don't have a flint. So when my weapon gets damp, I can still use it. It's a wonderful thing. It's a cap and ball. This one happens to be 54 caliber. This one also has what's known as a set trigger. You pull the back trigger, one click, and that front trigger now has a hair pull. You barely touch it, and this thing's going off. They're very accurate and very well manufactured and very popular in the Rockies.
On the line.
And pirates would have loved it if you could have had it in the 1700s.
Yes.
Fire in the hole!
Fire in the hole. It's gonna be loud.
Yeah.
This also has a set trigger.
This one's also a percussion piece. This is a 45 caliber pistol, and I'm going to have our ship's quartermaster fire that one for us. Let's do it. Sorry.
Morale officer, remember, she's in charge of the rum.
Hello again.
That's right.
This is the blunderbuss. As the quintessential pirate firearm. 75 caliber. The brass keeps it from corroding under seawater conditions and from salt air. the flared barrel at the time to start to spread the shot pattern out better. Modern physics says that's a lie. Does make it very easy to load though. Toss pretty much anything you want down this barrel and it's gonna hurt somebody 20, 30 feet away. Past that, I wouldn't trust it for anything. Known at the time as the deck sweeper, developed in the late 1500s. And never used by the Army, unlike most of these are holdovers from local armies. This was developed for the Navy for boarding, period. Are you guys ready? No, you are not. Whoa.
Well, we hit what we shoot at.
Right. So I will go on with the wheel lock.
Oh, we
Wheel
watch
lock.
that.
The most complicated piece of pistol ever invented. Inside is a small wheel, set of gears and springs. Thank you, sir. I turn the crank with a spanner, one complete turn. Unlike the flintlocks, this has a piece of iron pyrite. When I pull the trigger, the gears let go, the springs turn the wheel like a modern cigarette lighter, and that sets it off. Go!
Fire in the hole!
That's fire. You guys are terrible at this.
You got a cap on that? Cap didn't go off. Oh, that's great.
All right.
Just having a terrible luck today.
I'm not a much shoe gun this weekend. It's the second day that's happened to me.
Cap. This is gonna go off.
Sam, so shoot your gun.
Now,
He's the ship's engineer. He's going to make it go off one way or another.
Cap locks are usually much more reliable than a flintlock.
This is also the reason why on the butt of most guns you have a piece of brass. So you
It's a
can
club.
swing it like a club, and it hurts a lot.
She knows.
Yep. This is what I do to the crew when they're bad. I clunk them in the head with the back of my gun. Now Sam is loading with a pre-made cartridge, very much like the Navy and the Army at the time did. Somebody would sit up the night before and roll a paper cartridge, and then we put in the ball and the powder. That would go right into the gun and be ready for fire. A lot of times those cartridges were dipped halfway in wax in case we had a rainy day or bad weather, we'd still be able to fire.
All right. What else do we have left?
Any more guns? Ooh, the cannon's next.
The blunderbuss.
Who has the blunderbuss?
Sam. Sam, shoot it.
The 75 caliber blunderbuss. Fire in the hole.
Oh!
Prime it.
There we go. Little persuasion.
And now for something completely different.
What we're going to do, he's going to try and get that to fire so he can maybe try.
Work hard.
No good. We're going to load our cannon, and I'm going to do cannon calls that they would have used in the Navy. If we were at battle, it would have just been fire at will. So as quickly as we can get the powder monkeys to bring powder to the cannon, they would load them and fire them.
Captain, if I may interrupt.
You sure can.
We have a dedication on this first shot with the cannon. Edwin Stullig, late of Charlton, Massachusetts, was a good man. He set up an education fund for Bay Path School, and this first cannon shot is dedicated to him.
Yay.
Huzzah!
Gun crew, man the cannon. Can I help Jay? There we go. So I will yell to them the commands that they need to do, and then I'll tell you guys why we're doing it. Unapron your piece. This is a small piece of leather that would have covered the vent in the back of the cannon. This keeps water from getting into that vent and keeps debris debris out. Clean the vent. On clean the vent, he's going to take a little piece of brass wire and run it through there. It looks much like a pipe cleaner. That's just going to clean out the vent, make sure there's no debris in there. Stop the vent. He's going to use a thumb stall. It looks like the end of a mitten cut off. He's going to take that and plug up the vent. That way, when my first mate is loading it and he's drawing air through, it won't pull air through that vent and feed sparks. If we have been firing more throughout the day, that can start up a spark in the cannon's bore. Worm the bore. Every time we fire, we start with a clean cannon. Even if you're in battle, you take these steps. Sam's going to use a long ramrod with a conical piece of metal on the end. Run it down the bore and pull out any cartridges from our last firing. Wet sponge. That's my niece. Fire in the hole. He's going to take what looks like a gigantic Q-tip. He's going to take and dip one end of it in water, run that down the bore, and clean it out. That's going to clean the bore and douse any sparks that are in there. Dry sponge. The other end is dry. He's going to take that and dry out the bore because, as you've seen, black powder doesn't like moisture.
Dry.
Receive your cartridge and load the piece. Cartridges were generally made the night before. The powder monkey would run the cartridges from the powder magazine over to the cannons. They weren't kept close by in case of sparks or fire. So as fast as these powder monkeys could feed the cannons, they would load. Pick the cartridge.
Not done.
Okay. What he's doing now is he's checking that that cartridge is home. When we say
Cartridge
home,
home.
we mean all the way against the back of the bore of the cannon. If there's a little space left in there and we were firing a cannonball, it could cause our cannon to explode. But we're not shooting a cannonball. Pick the cartridge. He's going to take a piece of brass wire, run it down that vent. He's going to expose that powder bag and open the powder up for firing.
We use brass because it does not create a spot.
Very true.
It does not.
And it does not rust.
When you're at sea, that's very important.
Is it too far? Good? All right. Receive your primer and prime your piece. Primers were made from a feather, a bird's feather. They would take the quill end, kind of splay it open like a helicopter, and fill it with a very, very fine powder. That's what we'll use to ignite the cannon. Gun crew, clear the field. Now, in case there were a small space behind that cartridge or anything were to happen, we take our gun crew away and we have one person for firing. When we yell, we're going to count to 3, and I want you all to help me yell because they said they couldn't hear us the other day and we scared people. So to keep people from spilling their coffee, I'm going to yell 1, 2, 3, and we're all going to say fire in the hole. Plug your ears and open your mouth. It helps equalize the pressure, and you guys are really funny to us. It's true. Yes. Ready?